Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to In the Kitchen with Tally Faye. Hope everybody's staying in, staying warm, and just having a good evening anyway. You gotta love it, right? Texas winter time. Y'all know I love it. Good time for cooking. Makes you want to eat. Stuff just tastes better when the weather's cold, right? This evening I'm going to work on us. I'm going to do our supper video here in a little bit, but I want to get this dessert done. And y'all, I've made a Texas sheet cake recipe previous to this one. So I'm going to call this Texas sheet cake number 2. So that way you've got 2 different sheet cake recipes you can look at to see, you know, which one you think you'd like. But I think this one here is probably really good as well, or I wouldn't be doing it, right? So I have most of my stuff measured out as best as I could, and we're going to get started on this thing. It's a Texas sheet cake, y'all. Good old chocolate with the chocolate frosting on it and the nuts and all that. You know, if you know what a sheet cake is, you know you like it, okay? So here we go. You get it down here. Let's see. Put it right about there. Oh, y'all look at my tie-dye apron my daughter got me. Isn't that cuteness? I love it. Okay. All right. I'm going with it now. All right. We have, first thing we're going to do, I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour here. I'm going to go ahead, dump them in here. And then I have 2 cups of sugar. Get that in there. And now I need 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, y'all. 1/4 teaspoon. About like that. And there we go. There's our salt, our flour, and our sugar. Okay? Get that, and we're going to get that stirred up together in this big bowl. Y'all, I don't know who don't love a sheet cake. They've been around forever, and there is lots of recipes for them. Everybody's got their mama's favorite or their granny's favorite, you know. And I love all of them. But this here is a good recipe. And I wanted y'all to have a couple of different ones off of my link here so you could, you know, figure out your favorite. But anywho, here we go. There is our dry ingredients together. Now, the next thing I want to do, I've got this melting over here. In my little sauce pot here, I've got 2 sticks of butter. I'm getting melted on the stove. I want to get that melted. Let me get that down good. It's almost ready on that. And to that melted butter, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, okay? I'm going to get that cocoa powder mixed in with my butter. And then I have a cup of water in the microwave, a measured cup that I am boiling. You need a cup of boiling water that we're going to add next. But I got to get my cocoa in my butter first. Make sure that's done. Okay, good enough there. I'll bring it over here, so let me get me a little hot pad. Okay, now that my butter is melted, I'm just going to add my cocoa in here. Okay. And you want to get that, I just got me a little whisk here. I'm going to stir that up real good. Get that mixed together with 2 sticks of butter. 4 tablespoons of cocoa and 2 sticks of butter, y'all, melted. Alright, that's mixed together. I'm going to put it back on my fire and let it heat back up, and I'm going to let it boil on there. Let me move this up here. I'm going to let it boil on there for like 30 seconds. So I'm going to make sure that my water is boiling again. I went ahead and heated it up in there so it wouldn't take it but a minute. But we want to let this, can y'all see me? Yeah, okay. Oh, there I go, making a Tally Faye mess right off the bat, y'all. Probably got it on my new little house socks. I just got these. And here I am flopping cocoa on them. I don't know if y'all, yeah you can. They're so comfy, y'all. I love it. All right, that's good enough on that. Now my water. See, I have me 1 cup of boiling water. I'm going to take that and pour it in here. Okay. Now, I'll bring it over here. Put this back down here again. Okay. Now I'm just going to stir this up good together. I've removed it from my, you just let it boil for like, 30 seconds or something like that on there. And then you just take it off the fire. Turn your fire off. There I am slopping it, y'all. My goodness. Okay. That's the first thing right there. You know by the smell of it. If you know what the batter of a sheet cake smells like, you can tell that immediately with this mixture right here. Okay? So now I'm going to set this out of the way for a minute. Kind of let it cool just a little bit. Somewhat anyway. We're going to move it over here out of the way because the next thing I'm going to do here now is I'm fixing to get, I've got a 1/2 cup of whole buttermilk, y'all. 1/2 cup of whole buttermilk here. I'm just going to pour that in here. Okay. And I need 2 eggs. 2 eggs beaten. So I'm just going to go ahead and crack them in this cup. Do me 2 eggs. And whip them up here a little bit. I guess I could have done that previous. Okay. 2 eggs beaten, added to my buttermilk. Okay. Get that out of the way. And now, to this, I'm going to add, I need a teaspoon each of baking soda. I need me a teaspoon of baking soda. Make sure you use soda now, not powder. And a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. Alright, there's that. Now I'm going to stir this up together. That's my buttermilk, my egg, my baking soda, and my vanilla. Okay, we've got that together. Now, we're going to take our flour mixture here that we already have stirred together, and we're going to pour our melted butter and cocoa and water into this flour mixture. Okay? Let me just take that. Just like that. Okay? Now we're going to stir this up. Let me try to do it easy, y'all, without making a mess. Oh, I love that smell of the batter of a chocolate sheet cake. I just love that. It just smells so different from a regular chocolate cake or devil's food or any of that. It just does. Okay. Now I can stir it. I'm going to get this stirred up with our whisk. Kind of like that there, right? And now we're going to add our buttermilk and egg mixture. sure I got all of that in there. Pair of eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla and baking soda and half a cup of buttermilk. Now, y'all, we get this stirred up and that's your batter right there, just like that. So if you go ahead and get your prep work done, your measurements and stuff, before you ever start, it's just really easy to get this done. And remember, with a Texas sheet cake, the batter is real thin. You want it thin. If it's not thin, something's wrong. I don't care what recipe you use. If it's a sheet cake, it's supposed to be a thin batter. That's part of the texture you get out of a sheet cake. Okay, I believe I got it. Now, I've just got me a regular cookie sheet, y'all. I'm going to spray it very lightly, just because. And I really don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but I'm just going to give it that, right? I don't believe it'll hurt nothing. Oh, here we go. See how thin it is pouring in there? Like I say, it's a lot thinner than a regular cake batter. I remember the first time I made one, I thought I'd done something wrong. Okay. Like I say, you bake this in a cookie sheet because it's supposed to be a thin, you want it thin like that, right? Okay, my oven is preheated, y'all, at 350. It's preheated at 350, so I'm going to go ahead and get it in there, and you're supposed to bake it for 20 minutes, it says. So I'll watch that, and we'll see. But while it's baking is when you get your stuff for your frosting ready. So I'm going to go ahead, put it in the oven, and I'll get all my stuff out and ready to make the icing. And I'll come back and show you all that with the icing and how we do that. So, we'll be back shortly. Okay, y'all. In my oven, it took a little over 15 minutes. Just over 15 minutes. So, I took it out of there. And you don't want it baking dry, okay? So, pay attention and do your little toothpick check along the way, okay? And you can smell a cake when it's starting to get done. You kind of know that, you know, after you've baked them a while, you recognize when it's a done smell, right? But okay, so the cake is done and it's warm, cooling a little bit now. But we want to do this while it's still warm. So, I have melted again in my pot. I have 1 3/4 stick of melted butter here, okay? So now I'm fixing to add to that. I'm going to, let me put it down here where you can see. I'm going to add to that in my sauce pot here. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of cocoa. See, it's 4 tablespoons for the cake and 4 tablespoons for the icing. That's kind of easy that makes it easy to remember in a way, you know. So you have to get your cocoa stirred up in here. Make sure you got all that mixed really good. No little clumps in it. So we're going to stir this up, get that incorporated, and then we're going to add our milk and vanilla and our powdered sugar, okay? So I have 6 tablespoons of whole milk, y'all. Y'all, that's 1/3 of a cup. Just saying. But anyway, 6 tablespoons of milk, a teaspoon of vanilla, okay, And 3 cups of powdered sugar are going in here. I'm going to put a little bit in there and stir that, and then add some more like that, right? That way you make it probably a little creamier without it being so, the little lumps and stuff. Okay, add me a little more here. I guess you could say you added a cup at a time, right? If you wanted to be exact on it or something, but that's not, it doesn't say to do that in the recipe or nothing. I just feel like it'll help make it creamier, other than the fact that you could sift it through a sifter, you know, in there. Okay, add the rest. There we go. That's our 3 cups of powdered sugar, y'all. Okay. Let's see if I can whip this really good. Y'all know most of the time I use my big stand mixer, but really for this recipe I like to be a little bit more hands-on. I feel like I'm in control of it a little better when I'm doing it by hand, as far as getting everything put together good. Okay, y'all, there's that. Yes. And last but not least, and you don't have to put them in there, y'all, but I can't imagine a chocolate sheet cake without them, but I have a 1/2 cup of chopped nuts in here. I'm going to take my, let me see, spatula and stir that up in there. Stir those into it like that, okay? And there we have our frosting. See, and it's thin because we're going to pour it on this cake. Okay? Make sure I got everything good and stirred. Okay. Here we go, y'all. This is the bomb. This is what it's all about right here, y'all. And this feeds a lot of people because it makes such a big old cake in the cookie sheet, right? Okay. Now, let me get it spread out on here. And it's important to put it on there while your cake is still warm. Of course, I've got it running over right here, so. Look, it's a Tally-Faye mess. It's supposed to be, right? Messes are made to be cleaned up, so I just roll with it. Just keep going. Just keep going. Oh, yeah. This is going to work, y'all. I'm almost thinking I'm going to like this recipe better than the first one. And that, my friends, is a chocolate sheet cake. Ready to go. Let it sit there a little bit and give it time to set up just a little bit, and you can slice it and get after it. Because that's what you're going to do when you get your first slice of it. You're going to go for a second one. You don't eat one piece of this cake. No way. Okay, y'all. There it is. Let me let you over here, get you up closer, you can see it. Look at it. Doesn't that look good? If you know what a good old sheet cake tastes like, well, you know that that's some good stuff right there, y'all. So y'all write this recipe down and check it out. I think you'll like this one. This one's good. Both of them are good, but I'm kind of believing I'm going to like this one more. I think it's a little more moist. And y'all know that means everything to me in a cake. I want a moist cake, right? So, hey, listen, y'all have a great evening. It's nasty and cold out there, and just a great time to be in the house and be in the kitchen. Baking stuff. Feed your family. Gather around the table, right? So, it's chocolate sheet cake, y'all. Texas style. I'll see you next time in the kitchen with Tally Faye.